As you guys know, things have been kind of bad with the yellow symbol lately, and people have been trying to deplatform us, so today we are lucky enough to have a great sponsor. Really quickly, I just want to tell you about NordVPN. If you go to nordvpn.com/cleanprints and use code cleanprints to get 75% off a 3-year plan and an extra month for free, you can protect yourself online today. And a VPN will keep you safe, will keep you anonymous while you're browsing the web, which is super important today. They have servers in over 64 countries, they have 24/7 customer support, they are an incredible VPN that I have used for years now. So if you use my link, you can get that deal. I'll talk way more about it at the end of the video, but if you want to support, that's one great way to do it. Stuff in the description below. When I was 12 years old, me and my sister had those little razor scooters, you know, the ones that are basically guillotines with wheels designed to make sure you can never walk again. Well, one day we were riding those through my neighborhood, and she was, I don't know, maybe a football field behind me, and her dumb ass happened to fall off the scooter. I laughed. Because it was funny. When we finally got home, my sister walked into my mom's office, looked her dead in the eye, and said, "Tyler pushed me off my scooter." Now, I wanted to look at my mother and say, "No, Mom, your stupid daughter didn't know what a curve was." But I couldn't do that, could I? I just sat there and said, "Shh," and took what was coming to me. Did I do anything wrong? Not really. Did it matter? No. That must have been Bungie's experience making Destiny under the Activision umbrella for the past half-decade. I call it the Razor Scooter development cycle. Sup, guys? Welcome to Too Tall Destiny. If you're wondering, because you already are, I did indeed get this shirt off the douchebag rack. It was the one labeled, "I don't know what kind of douchebag I'm trying to be." I went with it. Because you know how the saying goes, if you're gonna look like a 6-foot-tall Muppet, might as well stand out a bit. Today is one of those days where I am going to sit here and defend a game studio. A studio that has not been very defensible for quite a long time. That's right, today we're talking Bungie, we're talking Destiny 2, we're talking Activision, and we're talking positives. Now this isn't breaking news, but I did want to wait a while just to make sure that there was no clownery going on before I sat up here in my too tall furniture and told you guys that, hey, maybe now is the time to get into Destiny 2. But hey, maybe now is the time to get into Destiny 2. It's funny that a lot of people don't understand the relationship between publisher and developer. Probably not the people watching this video, but the average consumer, mom and pop, who walk into Target and try to find a Christmas present or a birthday present for little Johnny. Kyle, who only buys Call of Duty and Madden every year. That person, they don't understand who makes and who publishes these games and what that means. If you were new to gaming, or if you were maybe younger, you might only know Bungie as the Destiny maker. You wouldn't know about their pedigree in the shooter space. You wouldn't know about their realities on the Xbox platform for years under the Microsoft umbrella. You know none of those things. You just see a company that's been basically buried for 2 straight releases and 2 of the most highest profile releases of this generation. And for the longest time, it looked there was some kind of complicit ridiculousness going on between Bungie and Activision. Bungie just wasn't the studio we once knew. Activision was exactly who we thought they were. And that Destiny was what it was because 2 groups of people knew that they didn't know what they were doing. Come for the nonsense, stay for the poetry. A 10-year contract, 3 games, and a giant divorce. That divorce, a very public one, and what came after, almost immediately after, was a studio showing who they really were without the influence of a publisher that wanted to treat them like a Disney Channel original movie version of Cinderella. Yes, I'm looking at you, Selena Gomez and Drew Seeley. If you haven't seen this movie, don't. Activision did a great job of creating contracts that kept Bungie quiet, of keeping Bungie locked away in a room, cleaning house, doing the chores, and Activision would take all the money and the rewards for those realities. As Bungie became the stepsister that was locked away, the pretty stepsister, the one you wanted to get to know, the one you wanted to shove a glass slipper on. Well, it's worth pointing out that Cinderella hung out with mouses and horses and that girl probably smelled awful. Bungie was Cinderella. There was a choice after Activision and Bungie split, a clear choice. You could do one of 2 things. You could continue down the path that you were continuing down and potentially make as much profit as you already were, make a Destiny 3, call it a day, boom, big sales, Bungie's back, blah, 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 and potentially, again, make a game that you don't really want to be making without the ideals you're actually attempting to put out there, or you could eat some of the profits, toss it aside, and get some goodwill back by making the right decisions. And surprise, surprise, Bungie, the studio that's done so many great things, continue to do great things. Shadowkeep is a game changer, and we're going to talk about why and in how many ways it is, but it's really important to talk about the context of Shadowkeep. For those of you that don't know, in just a few months' time, Destiny 2 will be going free to play. It'll get a new name, and it'll introduce a new expansion called Shadowkeep. We're not entirely sure the details of all of those realities yet, but there's a lot of really simple stuff here to break down. Destiny 2 will be jumping to Steam once Shadowkeep releases, and PC players will be able to transfer all of their progress. The game will get a new name, that's New Light. And the free version will include all Year 1 missions for Destiny 2, all content released thus far in that year, Crucible modes, dungeons, and provide, once again, an entry point that's free. It's also worth pointing out that they're changing the way they're releasing these expansions. Shadowkeep you can get by itself. So if you download the free-to-play version of Destiny 2, you can buy just Shadowkeep. You won't have to continue to build on the expansions. You won't need everyone before that. You won't be locked out of content if you don't have the others. You just need Shadowkeep for Shadowkeep. And you won't need the annual pass either. It's going to be a la carte moving forward. What this means, essentially, is that the MMO light that Destiny wants to be is finally going to be priced in a functional way and solve many of the problems that kept Destiny 2 from being the game it should have been from day one. Now, I do want to talk a bit about Destiny 2, but this conversation is bigger than Destiny. But let's start with Destiny 2. You want to know how to address player problems? You want to know how to get over the hump of communication with your player base? You want to know how to interact with your community the right way? It's not through Reddit posts. It's not through responding to blogs and forums. It's through giving players what they want and not attempting to rip them off. Players didn't want to feel like they needed every expansion to enjoy the content or be locked out of things. So Bungie said now, hey, pay for what you want, play what you want, no BS. Players didn't want to have to get a season pass, not knowing the quality and quantity of the content they were going to get out of that. So now it's a la carte. Pay for what you want, get what you want. That's a simple concept. If I walk into Walmart tomorrow and try to buy a box of Twinkies, I hope to God the cashier doesn't look at me and go, you can only get these Twinkies if you buy this box of Tampax with them. I don't want Tampax. I want Twinkies. What Activision was doing was saying, here's some Destiny content. We've got this nice, beautiful Twinkie here. But to get to it, you're gonna have to unwrap the condom we put on top of it. Is it a used one? Is it new? I don't know. Let's play a game of see what we can contract on the way. That was the Destiny 2 experience. I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know if I want it. I don't know if it's gonna hurt my wallet or hurt me to play. But hey, I've got the money, so have it all up front. I want the Twinkie, so I'll take the wrapping paper too. Forgetting all of that, Destiny 2, really Bungie in general, was in a tight spot. Okay, we have the option of trying to sell a third game, taking more time off, creating this game, and kind of abandoning Destiny 2, which is going to tell our players, hey, we aren't going to support these games for as long as you want us to. You're going to spend all this time and energy on them, and then we're just going to move on. Or we can kind of eat that cost. We know we'd make a bunch of upfront money, but we can work hard, engender some goodwill, and maybe make the game that they wanted in the first place before we even think about moving on to something else. By golly, that sounds like a good idea. It's funny, isn't it, that the second Activision leaves, all of a sudden these annualized techniques, this whole we need sequels, we need sequels, we need sequels, don't happen. That conversation doesn't exist. Suddenly, the people that get to make the games have the talent and the skills. They want to support the game they made. Shocking. I've gotten this question over and over again recently in Twitter DMs and even in here in comments. Is now the right time to jump into Destiny 2? And I really don't know the answer to that question. Like at all. You wait for it to go free to play, do you support them now? I don't know. What I do know, more than anything else at this point though, is that Destiny 2 is about to be the game you should be supporting. You have to show developers that they can make their way without these publishers, that we will support them without the nonsense, that we will give them a chance if they take a leap by themselves. That's the only reason Bungie went to Activision in the first place. They need money to fund these giant projects. They need the time, the investments to make these things. And with a new IP, there's a concern. Are players going to support this without hundreds of millions of marketing dollars behind it? We need to tell them, yeah. Does that mean you should pay for anything? No, maybe see if you like it in free to play. Everyone told me Healy's really cool, and at 11 I decided I'm gonna get in on this, and I put him on, and it took me 10 seconds to have the sidewalk carve the topographical map of Guatemala into my ass cheek. So, yeah, I'd say try things before you spend money on them. If it's not your ass, it might be your wallet. Either way, I'm not gonna make a purchasing recommendation here, but my point is that if we want to see more studios do this, more studios bet on themselves, bet on their games, support them, and support their player base, we have to show them that we support the studio with or without the publisher. And let's get to the publisher, shall we? If you need more proof as to how bad of a publisher Activision is, look no further than the fact that they supported something called Skylanders for 10 years, which was more just like a real-life claw game with toys that looked like a gremlin f***ed Alex Jones. But that's besides the point. The point is that if you need more evidence than that, look no further than this. Look no further than the fact that as soon as Activision's control over the Destiny brand ended, suddenly decisions that were consumer-friendly, were player-friendly, were made by the studio making the game. Suddenly, this game started to become, almost immediately, the thing players wanted it to be. Suddenly, the money-grabbing techniques disappeared. Suddenly, the cost of the game in its entirety disappeared. Suddenly, Destiny looks like a game that has a future, an IP that has a future. And all it took was one studio doing what they needed to do without a publisher. Activision is in absolute crises mode. Just look at Jason Schreier's report, which I'm going to keep referencing because it's a good report. More importantly, it tells you a lot about what's going on over there. Call of Duty is not going to live forever, at least not at the heights that they need it to. Skylanders is dead. They basically treated Destiny like they had CPS called on them after leaving their child in a hot car as they happened to Walmart to buy a box of limited edition Pop-Tarts. They have no idea what they're doing with Crash or Spyro. Activision is spiraling out of control. That should scare Call of Duty fans, but more importantly, it should show you what the publisher-developer relationship is. The kind of theses of this piece. The Razor Scooter effect, or the Razor Scooter development cycle. Activision, the publisher, the AAA publisher, goes to a group of talented people, a group of people that need to get somewhere, and they say to them, hey, we'll give you a way to get to where you're going. We'll give you a way to get to the places you need to be. But we're gonna give you the most dangerous, obnoxious, most annoying way to do it. And when you hurt yourself, when that scooter hits that little bone on the outside of your foot, we won't cover for you. We won't say a word. You'll take the blame and we'll keep on rolling. Publishers like Activision give developers like Bungie a way to do their job. But they do it in the most dangerous, most manipulative, most obnoxious ways imaginable. In the ways that only benefit themselves and the ways that only keep their business alive, not the business of the dev. A publisher gives the devs the money they need to make these things happen. And then they pay for the marketing. They pay for all of the things that get those games out there. But along the way, they remove the heart and soul of that developer and creative control from that developer and tell them to keep pushing on without it. Not all publishers are bad, but the next time you say, hey, I don't understand, Call of Duty looks better this year. It looks like they're making the right decisions. Just remember, whether it's Sledgehammer or Treyarch, they're on that Razor scooter, just trying to keep their feet alive as Activision has their hearts and souls in their hands. But now, I want to know what you guys think. Are you going to hop into Destiny when it's free to play? Are you going to hop into Shadowkeep? Are you going to change the way you think about Bungie from here on out? Have you already done so? Has the Destiny hype returned? Are you excited? Let me know the answers to any of those questions down in the comments below. Let's have a real conversation. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to this channel, press subscribe. I put out more gaming analysis, examinations, or whatever you call this ridiculousness that I do here on a weekly basis. You can hit subscribe. You'll see more of it. Also hit the bell because nobody got notified of the last video. So the bell will help. Now let me talk to you a bit more about something really, really important. Like I told you guys at the very beginning, this video was sponsored by NordVPN. These are the sponsors that allow me to keep doing this through all the nonsense. NordVPN is actually a great sponsor. I have used it for years. VPNs are super important. They can protect you while you browse the web. They can keep you anonymous. They can make sure you can't be tracked. They prevent things like identity theft and all sorts of good stuff. Again, you can get 75% off a 3-year plan at nordvpn.com/cleanprints. This special offer makes your subscription just $2.99 per month, so you can browse securely on all your devices, and if you use code CleanPrince, you can get an extra month of Nord for free. NordVPN is my favorite VPN. It has automatic kill switches. You can have up to 6 simultaneous connections, super fast servers. This is the VPN of all VPNs, in my opinion. They just so happen to sponsor me. That's actually genuinely a coincidence. So yeah, make sure to check that out. It helps me immensely. It allows me to keep doing this. You have no idea how important it is. So yeah. And that's it, guys. Until I cry myself to sleep after reading the comments about this shirt, I'm out.